Welcome, beloveds. I am so excited to be sharing with you December's BodySoul Alchemy cosmic energies. We're going to be diving into where these cosmic energies are activating your chakra consciousness and where they're inviting your body soul wisdom to come online, to invite these initiation of upgrades and cosmic alignments that are really calling forward a deep connection of activation within the collective consciousness of us all. So December is an energy on its own that stands as a powerful sacred frequency of the seven. Now, when we look at the energy of these sacred teachings, I work with ascended numerology. And if you want to discover more about that, have a look on some of my other posts about ascended numerology. But about these cosmic energies this month, there is a powerful amplification that is really setting the stage for the next part of our journey next year to be extremely powerful and for us to embody it this month, right? To embody it this month before then we step into that 9-year next year. As I was mentioning, December begins with the energy frequency of 7. Now, the energy frequency of 7 is the harmony of the master, the recognition of service. You may notice with this 7 energy that it's calling forward a deep connection of recognition of service. Often this is by the soul feeling called to direct their passion or mission in certain areas. It's also about this inspired action that may be moving through you, like these dropping downloads, right? That might be happening where you feel that you can be of service to the world or even into your own life. And this 7 energy is the activation and the initiation of the third eye. And so we can start to see with the initiation of that third eye, this is tapping into the pineal gland. This is tapping into the pituitary and the hypothalamus, and it's activating those dormant codes of consciousness within us. It's activating that dormant codes of consciousness that is inviting for an activation and acceleration of our own divine codes, our awakening of our soul's consciousness, and stepping into the mastery of that service here in this lifetime. And so this is like the energy that I've been feeling lately with Mother Gaia and the Human resonance and all these cosmic alignments that are happening. There is an amplification of an initiation. And you've probably been feeling this heaviness, this funkiness, this overwhelmed feeling of emotions and overwhelm or sensitivity through your body and nervous system. We are at a huge amounts of absorbing a lot of light. We are at a huge time of rapid acceleration where our cosmic DNA, our crystalline DNA is activating, where those who have been on the path of spiritual awakening is sort of getting an amplification of initiation. But collectively, we are all receiving this upgrade. It just might look different for all of us in every different way. So those on the journey of consciousness awakening, we may see it as an activation of soul mastery, an activation in our mission and our passion. And someone who's maybe not finding that they're on their spiritual path yet, the world could look a bit chaotic, heavy, overwhelmed. And the gift of that is that it's calling you back to stillness. It's calling us back to the center point. It's calling us to remember that we are divine beings having human experience. We're not just beings here to be on the hamster wheel of life, right? And so this 7 energy is a really interesting energy of that third eye that's coupling with the soul star of this year, infinite 8 energy, right? So it's activating these soul consciousness codes through us and embodying that as our higher consciousness. It is switching on our higher consciousness. And so that switching of higher consciousness is inviting our mission, our soul's mission, our mission of service, and how we would like to serve in this world, how we would like to serve ourselves. So as we serve another, we have to also serve ourselves and be open to how we nurture and love ourselves. The 7 energy is also about opening the intuition. It's about claiming your divine mastery. It's remembering that higher states of consciousness. And it's getting out of the filter of the mind chatter, out of the limited perspective of the mind. And it's inviting us to open that mind up to embody a deeper connection of our divine self, and a deeper connection to listening to source and soul self and the world around us. Now, when we add the 7 with 2024, that brings us to the beautiful sacred sequence of the 6. Now, this month's energy, coupling with the 7 and the 8, we're bringing us into the master number overall for this month is the 6 frequency. Now, the 6 sacred sequence of mastery here of the 6th frequency is the unified field of the divine masculine and divine feminine as the sacred Merkaba. This is a container of energetic rebirth. This is where some of the old cycles that you may have been witnessing coming up of late, some of the old cycles, some of the old belief systems, some of the limiting conditions that have been rearing their little bit of their head lately has been coming up this month so far. And will continue to the end of the month, because we're here to alchemize that, to then activate our higher states of consciousness ready for next year. And so with this 6th energy, this is coming into the sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra is about balance. It's about creativity. It's about activating that divine feminine, divine masculine balance within, right? And so when we connect to that sacred Merkaba and that equilateral balance of the divine feminine and divine masculine, it's also asking us to come back to the heart, because the heart space, in its traditional meaning and its sacred geometry foundations, is the Merkaba symbol. So through the creation vortex of the sacral chakra, we are recoding and rebirthing our original blueprint, back to our original blueprint, and remembering the divine essence that we are. So if you've been witnessing some of the funky old stories being coming up lately, this is the reason why. We are here to unravel these conditioned belief systems this month, because next year we have a huge year of that 9 energy. More on that a little bit later in another episode. But when we're talking about this energetic womb of rebirth, just be here with me for a moment. Just imagine what that is like. Just imagine the possibilities that are available to you if you bring that presence in and the awareness of being in this sacred chamber of energetic rebirth. Fascinating, right? It means it gives us an opportunity to rewrite those stories. It gives us an opportunity to recode our chakras and our consciousness. It gives us an opportunity to really get down into the nitty-gritty parts of ourselves that are already probably bubbling up, and inviting you to pay attention, inviting us all to pay attention and to bring love, presence, grace, and ease. What is emerging through you right now? What are you witnessing that's wanting to birth through you right now? Is it healing some old stories and old belief systems, things that don't serve you? Is it a new venture? Is it something that's inspired by your mastery action? Both are equally perfect and necessary to honor and support. Now we've got this massive amounts of cosmic energies this month. And with this 6th energy of the energetic womb of rebirth, we can start to see the 6th sacral, third eye, and soul star being in alignment with all these cosmic energies that we are receiving this month, calling forth a rapid acceleration of consciousness. So time stamping here, it's the 9th of the 12th. And we're going to backtrack a little bit because there is some important codes with the cosmic energies of this month prior to this date today. Life had its way, so here I am on the 9th. We began this month with a full moon. A new moon. We began this month with a new moon. And that new moon started off with the 12 frequency. Now that 12 frequency is our higher states of consciousness, our soul, our star of consciousness connection. And that star of consciousness is our soul's principle. It's also the body, soul, and vessel union as one, known as completion, right? And so when we began this month with the coding of body-soul union and the activation of our soul's principle, the activation of a completion of what was the last few months to then recode and rebirth something new this month, taking into next year. Then when we couple that with 2024, it brings us to that 11 energy. The 11 energy in ascendant numerologies, I always see this as divine pillars of light. It is the divine energy and the divine flow. So this divine energy and these divine pillars of light act as these pillars of light for our soul's consciousness. So that's how we've begun this month. Pretty powerful, right? And then we've stepped into this container halfway of the Mercury retrograde and Mars in retrograde began. It also took us into the 12 and 11 energy on the 6th and the 7th, depending on where you are in the world. So that 12 energy and the 11 again is in this frequency from the beginning of this month. Powerful soul recognition and bringing in the crystalline frequency codes of those pillars of light of your soul's consciousness. Then that leading into the 7th day, that took us into the number 10 energy. The 10 is manifestation codes. And that manifestation codes anchored us fully in here when we add the sequence together of 2024 in the high heart. This high heart is where the seat of the soul is. The high heart is our immune system. It's how we assimilate and how we connect to frequency and energy and how we assimilate that through our body. It's also regulating our nervous system and regulating our immune system as well. And so when we connecting with this 9 energy of the high heart, we can begin to see the beginning of the month had really supported and anchored in some soul mastery codes and an energetic rebirth and the stabilization of the divine feminine, divine masculine down into the sacred sequence of the high heart with the support of manifesting energies and crystalline pillars of light for that 9 energy for next year, being that 9 energy. We're receiving the codes already, right? And so when we connect into that and pause for a moment, we can witness that we are on this amplification activation, initiating us to step into those containers of alchemy, ready for the activation for next year. So the 9 energy is already here. It's already coding in your DNA. It's already activating the crystalline template already within you. And so when we connect then to the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, we're looking at Neptune moves direct, Jupiter is moving closer to Earth, and what we're receiving now are the 10 and 9 energy codes again. So the 10 is manifestation. So when we're looking at that manifestation energy of our higher states of consciousness, but the encoding of the 9 frequency, the crystalline codes of the sacred trinity of the 9, this is the energetic blueprint. This is the cosmic energetic blueprint of your soul. And so this is coding into that high heart chakra, again, on that 9 between the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And what we're seeing then is the 11 and 10 energy, again, for the manifestation and the crystalline pillars of light. So we can see just already to date, where we are on the 9th, that we have been receiving this amplitude of light code frequency that is creating this rebirthing and cellular activation of the high heart chakra, the cellular activation of our DNA, and upgrading our body and creating this energetic shift within our body of this new timeline. Because when we're stepping into the 9-year next year, it is going to be accelerated through the Trinity energy and also the alchemy energy of the 9 frequency. 9 is also the energy of your crystalline template. So we can start to see there is this rapid acceleration that is initiating through us right now. We also have on the 13th a powerful cosmic gateway with the moon and Pleiades aligning together and bringing again this powerful portal of manifestation, that 10 energy. And yes, we're going to say it again. It's bringing that 10 energy manifestation of whatever your soul's desires right down into your DNA, right down into the activation of your high heart chakra. This is initiating again this high heart trinity, cosmic crystalline DNA activation, and assimilate that frequency. Like there's this reverberation that's creating this template to continue to spin and activate to prepare us for next year. We're already in it now. And so then we've got these powerful showers, cosmic showers between the 14th and 15th, coupling with a full moon as well and an asteroid. So we've got big, big, big energies. We've got the 11 pillars of light and 10 energy again when we're looking at the 14th and 15th full moon. We're also looking at the 12 and 11 energy that we began the month with, and that would be bringing in the higher consciousness of our star of consciousness and the pillars of light again. We are also seeing that 6 energy there when we bring those sacred sequence together, which is a double rebirth of the sacral chakra. Now, when we look at the cosmic energies of this month, and we just backtrack a little bit, we're going to be in this powerful portal of a 12-12 gateway. And I call this a powerful portal alchemy gateway. And this powerful portal of the 12-12 is going to be activating and healing and alchemizing the root chakra. Then bringing in the 2024 higher consciousness. So we're going from a really deep rooted foundation on this 12-12 portal to recalibrate and recode back to our higher states of consciousness, and then all the way back up once we bring in the 2024 energies of the year. We're activating our third eye, our highest consciousness here, star of consciousness, which is that 12 frequency that's bringing in our soul principle, our body soul union, right? And so that's going to be the foundation of our beingness on that 12-12 portal. So we've got the 12-12 portal that ends up being a 12 again. So we can start to see this sacred geometric formation of light codes around us. It's activating our root chakra to come into a stable foundation for these cosmic energies of the high heart, the sacral, the third eye, and being that channel of your divine wisdom. Then finishing off well, not quite finishing up the year, but finishing off towards the end of the year. We've got the solstice between the 21st and the 22nd. And again, this is calling in our 12 energy. It's calling in the divine pillars of light, that number 11, our higher states of consciousness, and those crystalline light codes that are calling in. We could also call these crystalline light codes Christ consciousness. This Christ consciousness energy leading into December 25 is activating a sacred sequence of the Christ light, crystalline light. I like to see Christ light and crystalline light. They're actually one and the same. And so when we're activating this Christ light, this crystalline light through us all month, we can see that we are stepping into a year of the Christ light, the crystalline light, through our template, activating that through our DNA. Now, when we look at Christmas, and Christmas is bringing in the sacred sequence of the 5 and the 4 energy, plus the 0 point field. Now, the 0 point field means the infinite creation of that. We're always going out and back in and pulling in that information of source consciousness. So when we look at this, the Christmas energy of the 5 and the 4, the 5 is the throat chakra. All truth is revealed. And then we're looking into the 4, which is the root chakra, the balance of beingness, the balance of your soul's truth. Now, when we speak about chakras in the ascended teachings, ascended mastery teachings, we're talking about your soul's impression through the chakra system rather than the traditional meaning of what the chakras mean. Now, the traditional meaning definitely still is relevant and supportive to our personal experience, but we're tapping here into your soul's blueprint. And your soul's original blueprint here through ascended numerology and ascended soul mastery teachings that I teach is about embodying into your root chakra your soul's beingness, feeling safe in the body to be your divine self, the soul feeling safe to be in the body and be in alignment with your soul's mission, your soul's path, and living from that divine expression. And there's so much more that you can discover about the chakras through ascended soul mastery teachings. But then we finish off the year with another new moon. On the 31st, there is a sacred sequence and initiating coding that's finishing off this year so beautifully. And this is going to be bringing us to the sacred sequence of the 9, the high heart chakra, the crystalline template DNA, activation, your sacred trinity. Now, I like to look at the sacred trinity as being the mind, body, and spirit, but it's also the sacred sequence of geometry and mathematical equation frequency of the 369 energy. And so that sacred sequence is in all of creation. And so when we connect to this high heart chakra for the new moon, this beautiful, luminous new moon on New Year's Eve, all this new energy, right? Birthing a crystalline template. Then brings us into, with 2024, finalizing 2024 with the 8 frequency of the infinite. And as we stabilize that infinite energy all year, we come to a closing down of infinite energies. It's been a big year, right? But we come into a closing of that infinite energies, that infinite 8 energy, where we stabilize all the codes from this year, all the sacred energies and activations through your chakra template, through your body, soul, wisdom, through your life that you've been experiencing comes to an infinite close, which ends up being the double infinite energy. Now, the double 8 infinite energy ends up being this beautiful alchemical transformation. So you can Imagine this double infinite energy creating this propeller-like force to help accelerate your next year. The key to this is being in alignment with your soul's truth, being in alignment with stabilizing the lower 3 chakras, in alignment with working with your inner phoenix of the lower 3 chakras, activating them, coming back to the sacred heart, and allowing your divine expression to communicate through you. We have a jam-packed month full of sacred sequences and codes that are inviting each of us to let go of what was, to embrace what is, to rebirth, remember, and recode our true original blueprint, our divine source self, remembering that we are soul having a human experience. We are soul and body, body and soul, union and wisdom. That we are divinely inspired and connected and being called to our divine mastery of service. But we must serve ourselves first. We must honor ourselves first, the body and the soul as one. We must honor the body and soul as the sacred temple, as one. And therefore, we can then honor another. We can honor the journey. We can honor the expansive consciousness that is happening on our planet. We are at a turning time of the collective consciousness that is initiating through every one of us. Whether you're aware of this or not, it is happening for us. And by the end of this year, with the sacred sequence coding, if you invite yourself to be present with the energies that are coming forward, you can activate the sacred sequence of that new moon energy as that double propeller that is creating an acceleration and activation for your journey for next year. I thank you for joining me. Have a magical, wonderful acceleration, amplified, recoding and rebirthing month of your soul star, third eye, high heart, sacral chakra, where your body soul wisdom is calling for a reunification and a recoding of your original blueprint, and to remember that you are a divine being having a human experience. Have a good rest of your month, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.